Here we go. Ready? Oh, who's better than me? Yeah.
Jimmy.
Okay, that's cool. I transferred all the lines from the drawing onto this piece of wood, and what this essentially does is just, this is the shape of the case. This is the bottom, you know, this is the top, and these are the size of the drawers. These are the drawer dividers. So what I need to do is, I need to take this material out here and I need to flush cut this, so all three of these will be the exact same, so when I go to put them in on the piece of plywood, they're going to be perfect. So I just wanted to show you how I flush cut this. So. Alright, you can see that I have all three of my carriers finished. Flush cut, I have my grooves cut for the drawer dividers, and I have them screwed to a piece of MDF. You see the back of it? Just a bunch of screws in it, and I had it indexed on the bottom, so they're all in the same line. This is the most critical point of these drawers up till now. Before I put it together, I'm going to show you what it's going to ultimately look like. This is the top divider, and this is the second divider. You see how, like, the shape of them, each one is different. Each one of these pieces of pattern and the geometry that goes into each one of these curves is totally different. They're similar but different, so you just can't make one pattern and transfer it onto each drawer. They all have to be done individually. And this is the pattern for the bottom edge of the case. But not only is there a bottom edge of the case, there has to be a bottom edge to the bottom drawer. So all these patterns here have to be transferred to those drawer blanks. And these are just blanks right now. And what you can see is that these blanks, right, Rachel? They're really big. I mean, this is a big honking piece of wood, and you can see that I've already cut the angles on them. You know, there's a whole process that goes into laying out the angles on each one of these drawers. As you can see from the edge, if you can just show it from the edge over there, Rachel, each one of these has a different angle. You see? Go, come in this way, huh? See, like that. Each drawer has a different angle on it. Just like over here. Check it out. Each one of these, you see on the drawing, each one of these angles is different. From here to here, this one's different than that one, and that one's different than this one here. And these are the curves of the patterns up on the, these are the curves of the drawers that were transferred on the pattern. This actually is the bottom drawer. And this line here is the bottom of the case. I know it's confusing, but we will talk about this in depth at a different point. This is a half a pattern, and this is a half a pattern elevation. Not only elevation, but it's also a half a pattern from the front. So you can see that the pattern of the swell is on the front and on the side view. These big chunks right here in the drawing are those drawer blanks I was just talking about. And this line in here, you can see that? That's what we're shooting for. This is the final product of the drawer. So that piece of 3/4 there, this shape. But all these little lines inside here, I know it gets really confusing, but these lines are actually the inside sweep of the drawer front. So basically what I'm just going to show you kind of quickly how this goes before we cut it all apart totally. I already have them numbered. I have one of them that's laid out, just to give you an instance, for instance. Can you see that line, Rachel? On the first drawer divider? See that? That big fat S-curve?
Oh, yeah.
Awesome, huh? So this is what the divider looks like. So what I need to do, right? I need to put these dividers in. Well, first I need to mark each one properly and cut them, shape them, flush cut them, and make them perfect. And then I need to, this is number 3. Number 2. I had them marked out, and hopefully each one of these is going to be, like, I don't know if you remember from when I was cutting out the big blank, these drawer dividers came out of particular areas inside the big honking piece of wood. So these are kind of fit snugly. And check this out. Yeah, right from the side, perfect.
Ooh.
You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Wrong way? No?
I don't know. I get confused, yeah. I'm looking at it backwards, you know. The top, I mean, and this stuff is still really heavy. And it's a pain in the neck to work with, so you still gotta, you know, do your thing. I have each one of them marked out, top, front, you know. And this one over here is the bottom. Oh, man. And they all fit nice and tight. Now what I'm going to do after I get these in, I'm going to find a center line and split this whole thing. And after I have the drawer blades cut out and fitted perfectly, I'll just put a little glue on these and hold them down so I can shape this whole front and fair it, which is really going to be the most fun of this piece. It's extremely complicated, and I've been on this for like 3 weeks now, and it takes a while, but this is an evolving process. So when you build a piece of furniture like this, you really just have to take your time and don't get discouraged when it's not going as fast as you want. I mean, last week I was hoping that I was going to be able to have a lot of work done and pieces cut apart and everything, and this just takes a little bit more time than I expected, so, you know, that's okay. But this is what, you know, that's why you have to put 8 or 9 months apart for this. Now check this out. This is also not only the side of it, Rach. See?
Mm-hmm.
Can you come in here and see the pattern? This is what it's going to look like. You follow me?
Yep.
So I have to cut. This is what I'm going to cut these blanks. See what I'm saying? That's what it's going to look like. And not only from the side view, Rachel, on the top, it looks like it from here as well. So that's what the front is going to look like.
Oh, yeah.
You see what I mean?
I do.
And this is the very beginnings of this three-dimensional shaping of these drawer fronts. And it takes a long time.
So these become templates to shape all this wood down to.
Yeah, and you can put that over there. You can see that the blocks of the wood within the parameters of the
Right.
pattern.
Right.
Excuse me.
So
The pattern.
this whole thing is going to curve in the serpentine direction and the Bombay direction, and these patterns make that
Yep.
possible to visualize in, and they give you targets to work to.
And this gets complicated with the lines because the bottom line needs to go on the top of the drawer and a lot of little technical stuff I'm not going to bore you with. But essentially, this wants to look like this, you know? So we're just going to kind of figure out the lines and get them on the piece of wood, and then we're just going to cut one to show you what it's going to look like when we cut that three-dimensional look into a single plane serpent.
We could hog this all out with hand tools, but
Oh yeah, I
it'd
mean,
be nice to bandsaw it
Yeah, we're
to
gonna
speed
bandsaw
that
it.
up a lot. But you have to bandsaw carefully because of all the three-dimensional curves.
now what do you think they would have done in like 1780? They would just wouldn't have hogged this out. They would have had a couple of bow saws, maybe
Yeah,
a couple of two-hand saws
or
to
maybe
cut it out.
some stop cuts with
Right.
hand saws, that kind of stuff.
I mean, it's really theoretic. It's theoretic how the approach of all this stuff comes about, and we're just winging it, trying to figure out the best, most efficient way that him and I and Lance and everybody else that's a furniture man knows how to do this work. You know, but as those guys, I have no idea how they did it.
Well,
I'm just sure
this
they were lightning
is
speed.
what gives us an idea. Doing it
Yeah.
yourself is probably one of the best ways to research
Yeah.
how they could have done it, because it's not documented.
Yeah, because you know what, you never know until you do it, right? So let's get some lines on this bad stuff and cut it up.
Super.
Nice. So. All right, well, we've shaped them all. We've got them closed, and I know you probably think that this was the most dangerous part and the most complicated part of the whole process so far, but it really isn't. It just keeps getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And why don't you tell them why, Steve?
Well, we have to do the real shaping where we shape the rough shape drawers down to the dividers. Those are our real guide, and it's a constantly changing set of curves in all directions. So these will help, but the space in between is still tricky. These are convex in this direction. It becomes concave over here, but at the same time it's concave in this area, but becomes convex in the middle. So we need some spatial awareness. I don't know when we're going to get that, but we need
We'll
to
get it, buddy. We'll get it. Don't worry. We will get there.
But we need the appropriate tools
So
too. The Travisher here is one of the tools that will allow us to get into a compound concave curved area. How's that for
Compound cave.
alliteration?
I can't even say that. That was good.
Thanks. Hope I'm not being glib. So there will be some other tools we can use as well. So the gooseneck scraper.
Tons of stuff, man.
The
We have our work cut out for us.
Scorp.
So we got to go because we can't hang around and just yap it up all the time. We got to get some stuff done. So we'll see you later.